digging in the crates for something good. Hidden gems often misunderstood. 'Cause you know there's no such thing as too much. Miscellaneous important stuff.
Welcome back to the show. If you're here, thanks so much for showing up. Thanks for hanging out with me again. This week, I called my friend Nick in California, in Irvine, California. And Nick is a streamer. He's been streaming on Twitch for a while now, so he actually just got done streaming when I called him. So we talked some about that. We talked about why he got into streaming, why he's doing it, because his goals are very different from mine. And then I think we got into other topics, just naturally moved on to other topics and talked about trips we've taken and growing up together and our views on perfectionism and work and life. So it was fun. Nick's one of my best friends. I've known him for 20 years, 22 years, 20-ish years. And yeah, just so happy to have him on here. It was a great conversation. It really was. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy too. Here it is. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. It works. That's good. That's good news. That's a good start.
Oh, yeah. This is the best start we've ever had.
I know. Called and we're already like going. How cool is that?
It's amazing.
It only took a year. Yeah? Year?
Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm just living in this good feeling right now. But tell me about the stream tonight. You were just streaming on the internet, the Twitch.
Yeah. So on Mondays, what I normally do is just stream kind of behind the scenes. I stream a little bit of the work I would normally be doing when I'm not streaming, and I kind of put together my schedule for the week. So it's a good way to get some interaction with the people that are watching and get their input on what they want to see throughout the week, and try to put together like a framing for a theme for the week. Just kind of instead of having to spend that time all off stream, which I still spend a lot of time off stream. But yeah, spending that time and having that interaction with the viewers makes it kind of more interesting in my mind.
Do you think that? Well, how many weeks have you been doing that? Like, because you didn't always do the behind the scenes stuff, right?
I definitely did not. So my first time to do that was last week. So this is week 2.
And do you think people find it interesting? I mean, I do, but I love behind the scenes.
I don't know that I've done it enough to get a lot of feedback, and since I wasn't streaming on this day before, not all the people that watch know that I was doing this, so that I haven't had much of a chance for feedback. But I think it's kind of breaking that fourth wall and kind of helps to make it a little bit more real. In general, I run into a lot of issues on my streams, so maybe it's par for the course to break the fourth wall, but it kind of breaks down that barriers and makes it to where it's like hashing those issues out even more on this day that's dedicated to that. I think it's kind of a fun way for the community to kind of see what all goes on as I'm trying to put things together during the week.
See, I love that, and I've thought a lot about that for myself, but usually I end up thinking like, all right, I'll just record these things that I'm doing, and then I'll make a video about it later. because
Right.
when it's happening, I'm just like, I can't right now. And I mean, it's different because I'm not streaming on Twitch, and I guess I could, but I get so overwhelmed by the problems that I'm like, I just gotta fix it, and then I don't want anybody to see how awful this is right now, but at the same
Right.
time, I would love to see that, like other people doing that, because it is relatable. Like, who doesn't get on the internet or try to do anything creative or different, or I mean anything at all where you don't run into problems, especially with technology.
Oh, for sure. Well, and like even some of the people that I follow and watch on Twitch, I end up seeing them run into a host of issues as well, and I get you feel for the person that's running into the issues, but you can tell that uh, they're impacted more by it. They have more take more issue with the fact that they're having an issue. Uh, I used issue twice in that sentence for different meanings, and
Well, then you
that's
said
the
it a
best
third
way to
time,
use the English language. What did you say?
and then you said it a third time while explaining that you said it twice.
Oh, yes, that is true. Uh, but I will make one comment about that, or to extend on that point. I've had probably 4 or 5 people at this point comment about how much they enjoy my streams and how much fun they have in my streams. Uh, Even on days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I had so many issues, and oh, this is not going well. Things are really bad right now. And people are just like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
See, and that's awesome. I think that's the approach that you should take, and that I need to do more of that, because that's the whole reason not the whole reason, but part of the reason for this podcast was just like to let go of things and just let it be whatever it is. And then I can be a
Yep.
perfectionist with other things, because perfectionism can be like crippling. It can
Right.
stop you
For
from
sure.
doing anything. And I was reading some about it and just looking up definitions, even though I know what it is. But there was this one mini article on psychcentral.com about destructive perfectionism versus constructive perfectionism.
Hmm.
So, like, perfectionism where you're trying to get something up to high standards versus high standards that become impossible standards. And I guess finding
Oh,
out whatever that line is, but I've struggled with that forever.
right.
And man, it's hard though, because you get so caught up in it. You know, you want to do
For sure.
the best job, and you see the details nobody else sees, and you're like, nobody's allowed to see this before it's what it needs
Right.
to be. But then it never ends up being what it needs to be, ever.
Well, and you know the funny thing for me around that, like constructive versus destructive perfectionism, like I find myself at work. I am a software engineer, and I find that I am always pushing people, and I'm pushing myself to fail more, and like not worry so much, and make sure that you have things in place to protect you whenever you do make a mistake, more than not making a mistake, making sure you have those safety nets to catch whenever you make a mistake,
Right.
and just go, because you learn so much more from your failures. And so I think that's you still want to be able to learn and perfect your craft constructively, but I would say that as far as streaming, I think I'm on the other end of the spectrum, not completely off the rails, but more on the destructive perfectionism. It's interesting to be the same person. It's still me, but I feel
Right.
like I sit sometimes on both sides of that.
I think that's good. I think, and it makes sense. Like, I feel like for different projects, you could be one or the other, and like one suits this project better than this one. And I, I mean, I guess yeah, this is what that is for me, though, where I can just not care. But then again, I do. I still care too much, but that's always going to be part of who I am. But I'm a creative, and the outcome of a project is too important to me. But it's also been really important for me to learn when to let things go. Like if it's like if it's affecting your mental health, if you are like breaking down over it, then
Definitely too far.
it's like, well, what? Yeah, and most of the time, it's like it's something that's probably wasn't that important anyway. And but that's probably always going to be there, and then it's probably good to have someone to keep you in check too. Or for me anyway, where somebody just says, you're acting crazy. You need to let it go.
Yeah. Just come on, take a step back and look at it. Is this really where you want to be? Like I would ask you the question right now: do you feel like your perfectionism has held you back from your goals on like being creative and like what you want to do with your content?
Not so much now because I'm better at letting things go. I've taken a really long time to get like my space to where I want it, but I don't feel like it's I don't feel like I'm to that point yet where there's not any real change. Like I'm making big changes and I see the changes and I'm still motivated. I'm still excited about it. So I don't see that issue yet. But in the past, for sure. I mean, even the movies that we worked on together, the short films, like I just
my goodness,
could not let things go ever.
How many times did we reshoot scenes? Like 5 or 6 different times.
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple times because we lost footage or just something didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, I would look at things and it's like, I need to reshoot it. I need to re-edit it. I opened old projects that were technically done and I needed to redo it. But at that time, I didn't know that it was an issue. I just knew that I had that feeling that I had to do it. And I didn't know why. I mean,
well, yeah, you've definitely learned since then, and I think as we started these projects or like creative outlets, I think we had discussed kind of some of these issues that we had run into with them before. Do you feel like talking that out and hashing that out had a big impact on you being able to accept where you were with your perfectionism?
Like when we talked about it in the beginning?
Yes. As we started these.
Yeah, I think talking about it with other people, with you, with other friends, and with myself, like making it very clear what I wanted out of this and what I was going to allow myself to do, that helped a lot. Because anytime, especially for the podcast, where I have too many people with too many opinions from the outside or too many thoughts of my own that are negative, then I'm like, hey, whoa, that wasn't the point of this. Like, you're not supposed to overthink it. Like right now, if this doesn't go well, I'm not gonna let myself care too much because I'm like, I'm gonna be back next week and it's gonna be fine. It'll probably be better.
Yeah, exactly. And there are several times where we've completely failed on putting some of these together, and even you've been on several of my my streams. We do our Saturday stream on Twitch. I think we had probably 7 or 8 times where it took us like an hour to set up just to get our streams going.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've learned we've learned from those mistakes and issues that we ran into before.
And eventually it'll just be fun to do because you won't be dealing with the other issues.
Right.
And that's the other thing. Like, there's so many problems that can come up just from setting things up that you don't want to just kill yourself over the details past that, because then what? Then you're just like, then it's another job. And, I would like to create for a living. And if it's going to be miserable, then it's no different than what other job I would have anyway. It's the same thing if I'm not enjoying it. So I guess you got to find a balance too, though. I can't create terrible content and then, expect people to want to watch it or pay for it or show up.
I will say that Ed Wood was very successful.
That's true, but you got to be on the extreme. You got to be really, really bad, or you got to be really good.
Yeah,
but that comes with time too, because I think what I can do now in 5 minutes is like it would take me days years ago
Right.
when I started out. So it's like that also just comes with time, like creating high quality content in a short amount of time. The
Well,
only way
I
to
mean,
do
I
that.
think something popped into my head right there that I don't think you were trying to get at all, but I think it is something that is more interesting. How how big of an influence in this discussion do you think technology advancements play? So over the time that you've been having your creative outlet, you've had to use editing things that were non-computers. They were separate editors,
Oh yeah.
and it's a lot harder to not be a perfectionist, I would say, whenever your tools make it very difficult to make anything.
That's
Uh,
true. That's a good point. Yeah, because before, like to make a change, it was such a bigger deal. Now I'm like, I can do it, so why won't I? Right? Like I can go back in and
right.
change that thing. So you almost feel like you should, like you're obligated
Yeah.
to, but you're
Well, and
not.
it's like the iteration cycle of learning from your failures is much quicker, and I would say that it's less demotivating if you only spent like an hour trying to set something up rather than spending like a week on trying to edit something together and then finding out that you did it completely wrong.
Oh yeah, and having to start over.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, what was that editor? I still have it in my room. The It was the VS 500, the Video Studio 500. Remember that with the
Yep.
keyboard on it? Because it was
And
the
the different transitions it had and
yeah.
the different text and fonts that you could do for titles.
And most people probably never heard of it. I don't even know if you could find it, but it was you plug your camera into the video studio, and then you plug that into the VCR, and then you'd overlay effects on what was being fed into that machine, and then you'd record it on the new VHS tape. And it was, to me, it was just incredible. It was like we were professionals. We were working
Yeah.
stuff out, but
Yeah.
you had to like time everything out perfectly because it wasn't computer editing. It was just like a box, which was so much more difficult. And you got one font. Did I
Okay, so go ahead. Sorry.
did I tell you I sold that and then I bought another one?
Yes, you did tell me
Okay,
that. Like,
I couldn't
I think
remember.
just recently you bought a new one, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that well. Actually, it might have been like a year or more, but it was several years after I sold it because I just wanted to have it because I feel like it's such an important part of my progression as a, well, whatever I am. Like
Right.
that's such a huge memory, and I was afraid that they just wouldn't be available anymore. So bought one on eBay, and it was basically the same price as it was back then.
Oh, man.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say like if you had to go back um, and let's say shoot My Little Mascot, movie that we made at least 2 eons ago. Uh, if you had to go back and shoot it, knowing what you know now about perfectionism, what would you have done differently?
How would I have shot it differently?
What, just in general, like what would you have done differently?
Everything. I mean, I just know.
Anything more specific?
Well, I just know so much more now. So the way I would have approached the whole project would have been different. But I
Right.
think I also probably would have. That's a tough one, though. I want to say I would have let it go earlier because
Right.
really anything I work on these days, whether it was a week ago or it was 2 months ago, I already don't like it, and I know I want to change things about it. So it's like
Right.
it really has been eye opening for me just to see how quickly I'm not going to like things anyway because I change so much and learn so much that I'm. It's better just to let it go and be like, well, I don't know about that. You can't be
Right.
proud of every project. It's just because you can't put all your energy into everything, and most people don't care anyway. The people you're giving it to are going to be like, that's incredible. That's the best thing I've ever seen. So
So I think. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna say let's say you get paid like a little bit for a project. It's not a lot. Should you put everything, all of yourself into that project for that small amount of money to give to somebody who you could really give 25% of effort, but give them everything they need? I mean, that sounds bad if somebody doesn't understand what that means, but you you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying, and I think a lot of people go that route. Um, to me, I'm all or nothing whenever I'm working. So if I'm working on something that I'm not passionate about or not, I'll say intrinsically motivated towards, to where it doesn't even matter about what I'm getting paid, then it's zero. Like I just uh, won't even work on that project or whatever. I will say that there are things that I don't enjoy within my job, but I understand um, the reasons for them. I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe that's different, but the general purpose of being at that job or doing that job, I think if I don't have that intrinsic motivation and passion for being there, then yeah, that's not something that me personally that I can do.
No, and I get that, and I'm moving more towards that, which is why I don't. I will. I have to have some motivating factor, so it needs to be like more money that makes a little bit of suffering worth it, or
Mhm.
a project that I care about. But also, not everyone can take that approach, though.
Right.
I feel like some people aren't that. I don't want to say lucky because you can kind of make your own luck in that way. Find something that you're really
Right.
passionate about and do it. But I think a lot of people are stuck in jobs where they hate them, and like you have to figure out a way to get motivated or to do it. But because you don't
Right.
care about it, it's just not going to be as good. The work's not going to be as good.
No, definitely not. Like, especially if there's any sort of creative or intellectual aspect to it, intrinsic motivation like enhances the creativity like
Yeah,
so much that it's so important.
that's why. And it like with creativity, especially in with my full time job, I like to call it forced creativity. Not
Right.
for all of it. I mean, some of it like it's exciting, it's different, it's interesting, but there are things that we have to create at work that like just nobody wants to do. It has to be
Right.
done. You have to do it. Somebody asked for it, and it's just you can't make yourself make it good, or not to you. I mean, you may hate it, they may love it, but if they want something that you don't like, then finding a way to get that done, that can be torture.
Right. Yep.
So forced creativity, which I hate, and that's why I think that's why this stuff is so important to me because this isn't forced at all. It's whatever I want to do.
Well, I was forced, just so everybody listening knows. I had no option but to be here. You may be able to tell by the quality of this that from Jay's side this has been amazing, but from my side it's like the 25% effort.
uh, See, you can put 25% effort in. I knew it.
I yeah, I was lying this whole time.
You know, that thinking about that again though, like that 25% effort, that's bad too though because I end up hating myself for it. Or I'm
Right.
like
For sure.
it's like maybe the 25% is all I feel mentally or physically capable of, but then you feel like, man, I really want to be better than that, but I just don't like this.
Oh, for sure. Like if you're in a state where you're not like performing at the level that you're used to, whether it's quality or quantity, because you're not motivated, it's even more demotivating to know that you're not operating up to what your normal level is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was Gary V, the entrepreneur.
I do know, Gary.
He had a I don't know what video he was in because he's got like thousands out, but he was talking. Maybe he was giving like a keynote somewhere, but somebody in the crowd was asking a question, and they say, how do you get through the process? Because sometimes the process isn't fun. And he cut him off, and he goes, "It is for me. So
Right.
find a process you get excited about. Find something that you get excited about." And I thought, I loved that. I don't know that that's always true. I mean, you're always going to run into things that aren't fun, like setting up equipment. It's necessary, but it's also not fun. But I think the bigger point, what he was trying to say, was important to me. That find something that you get excited about.
Right. For sure. Well, and the fun part is what comes after you set up, right? The motivating part is, okay, once I set this up and it's working, I can do the podcast. I can create the best music, I don't know, riff that was ever created.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
that's true. I guess it's like working out, right? Like, it's not always, you don't feel good working out. You feel good after you work out, especially if you work out
Right.
hard, or if you go for a long run. It's like you want the suffering because of what you get out of it, but like
Right.
that's what motivates you,
Right.
because you're working towards something. So you're excited, but also suffering at the same time.
You're excited at how much you're suffering.
Yeah, you're like just into it. Have you ever been excited about suffering?
I can't say that I have any time that's popping into my head right now.
But you've been motivated to suffer.
Yes, I have been motivated to suffer. I wouldn't say that I would be excited to suffer.
Yeah, motivated's better, but that's also a weird phrase to say out loud. I'm just like
Yeah.
motivated to suffer right now.
You know what? Yeah.
But I can think of a lot of things where I can say that of, though, where I'm
Yeah.
motivated to suffer.
For sure.
This
I
being
mean,
one
the
of them.
workout example is a good example.
Yeah, every time I do something new in this apartment / television studio, I know that I'm not going to like doing it for at some point in the middle or towards the end. I'm just going to want it to be done. But I'm so motivated to do it that I get so excited about it, about what it'll look like when it's done. Like that's what I love.
Yeah, that's why you're motivated to suffer.
Yeah. Like tonight I was painting. I didn't feel like painting, but I'm like, "Oh, it's coming together."
Oh, yeah.
I actually hate painting now. I've painted so much stuff in here. And I hate painting, but it's turned out so good.
Yeah, you're motivated by the results, not by the road.
Yeah.
Gets you there.
But that suffering makes it worth it. That's why I'm
Right.
like, yeah, you
Yep.
can't. I don't even want to enjoy all the process, really.
Yeah.
I want a little bit of the suffering to make it worth it.
Yep.
I want the road. But I also think that's
What
what,
a bumpy road.
yeah, I think that's what Gary Vee was sort of saying too, though. He loves that struggle. He loves like
Right.
working towards something, and if he ever got to where he wanted to go, he's like, I'm just going to start something new because I love being in the process. So, I don't know. I find him interesting.
Yeah, he's got a whole bunch of great content for sure. You were talking about how many different videos he has. Like, yeah, it's insane how much content he puts out.
And he seems to love what he does.
Oh, yeah, I think you can tell.
But then I wonder, because he loves what he does so much, if he doesn't see that other people may never find that. Because I don't think everyone will
Right.
find something that they love to do as much as he loves to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, I think some people do have a hard time finding their calling as well. So maybe even if there was something that would be that motivating, then yeah, doesn't mean that you're going to find it. And even for my dad, he didn't find that until later in life. It took him a long time to find the thing that he was really motivated to get behind.
How did he find that though? Like, was he actively searching for it, or did it just happen?
I don't know for sure.
You just know that he eventually found
Yeah.
it.
Right. Yeah, and I know that he struggled with lots of jobs until he found like what he was meant for, and he was great at it, and like yeah, really succeeded after he was able to find that one thing that clicked.
Well, just you saying that he struggled through lots of jobs, I'm going to assume that he was always thinking about what he actually did want to do, because I can't imagine you'd find that unless you were. But I think that seems to be the thing that separates people who do find what they love and the ones that look at other people and wish that they could be that fulfilled. Just looking for it and being willing to fail or to try something and not like it, but still being willing to try something else. Right? Or no?
Yeah, yeah, I think that makes.
I mean, it'd be like if you started streaming and you were like, I hate this. I thought I would like it, but I hate it. But then you do something else. You find something else that makes you happy.
Find your fun.
Yeah. I was reading this book on happiness years ago, and one of the tips was to not feel like you have to like things other people like.
Yep.
Because I've done that. I don't think I do it much anymore. But you know, other people are into one show or they're into like a certain game, and you feel like, man, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm supposed to like that thing. But you just don't. But you feel pressure to do that. So then you watch the show or you play the game and you're like, I'm not having any fun, but I'm still doing it for some reason.
Peer pressure, just in general, I guess.
Yeah. When's the last time you gave in to peer pressure?
Oh my goodness.
Like
What a question.
real peer pressure. I don't even know if I have an answer for that.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have it. Like say no to drugs kind of peer pressure.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that to me, the one about drugs or drinking, that always made me want to do it less. That always made me so angry. Because on my 21st birthday, well, you know the story, you were there.
Right.
Where my friend threw me the party. And
Yep.
everyone
I
had
definitely remember that.
had beers there and like, drink it right now. And I was like, I'd just rather not now. I have no interest in having any alcohol at all because
Right.
everyone's looking at me, everyone's expecting it, everyone's waiting, and they want me to be drunk. And I'm like,
Which you did drink after that. It was just during that situation.
yeah.
It
I
was-
mean, you talking about that night I did?
No, you didn't that night.
No,
did you?
no, that's what I mean. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't
After
think you
that, but I was like, I want it to be on my terms. I hate peer
Right.
pressure of that kind.
did. Right.
And nobody was even being mean about it. I just didn't like that I was being told and expected to do something. I don't like being expected to do something that I don't really want to do.
Yeah. No. For in general, I've found for whatever reason, I'm the kind of person that instead of typically if somebody goes into a crowd of smokers, the expected response is that that person picks up a cigarette and starts smoking. Uh, the the middle ground would be that somebody goes into a crowd of smokers and is able to have conversations with them or whatever, and like doesn't start smoking, but the other people continue to smoke. For whatever reason, I found the situations that I've been in, it's been more like I walk into a crowd of smokers and everybody stops smoking.
Like they feel bad?
Which that's the part where I don't understand. Like, for example, like cursing, like
Yeah.
people cursing, and like I'm not somebody that curses, and so I'll go into
Do it right now.
a
Do it.
crowd of people, and like people will stop cursing, and it's like I think that they know that I'm a person that doesn't care. Like I'll be around people cursing and it doesn't bother me. Like I'm not like not offended by it. I just don't do it myself. And so I don't know whether it's like either they respect me or they feel like that's a sign of respect, I guess. I don't know. Or they don't respect me and don't think I can handle it, or I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how to explain it, but it seems like I've run into more cases where it's been almost opposite peer pressure.
How do you think people should handle it though? Because if it were like drinking, because typically somebody's either going to be like, what's your deal? Like, what do you think? You're better than us because you don't drink? Or they're going to want to know why and be really nice about it, or they're just not going to drink around you. I wonder what the best approach is. Do you just live
Yeah.
live the way you live?
I mean, I think that in general, I try to just deal with myself and make my own decisions. I find that the weirdest situation that I get into is because I don't do some of those things. The people, if I go to a bar and I don't drink, but everybody else around me is drinking, the situation that I seem to get into is where people feel like I'm judging them, and so they're judging me for judging them, even though I'm not judging them. Which it's some of the weirdest, like convoluted logic, I guess.
We're
But
like, none of us
uh,
know what's happening right now.
yeah, it's like no, I'm not. I have no problem with you doing what you want to do. It's your life as long as you're not like drinking and driving or doing anything that is like impacting others. If you're completely within yourself and you're just having a good time and like doing whatever you want to do and not hurting others, hey, you do you, and I'll do me, and
Yeah.
like I'm not judging you for doing what you want to do, and like I feel like there are times where I'm being judged for judging people whenever I'm not judging. So like, wait a second, now aren't you the person that's doing the judging? Yeah,
Yeah, like I'm just here. Let's all stop looking at each other and what we're doing. I'm
yeah.
uh, uh. I if I'm around other people who aren't drinking, I'm less likely to drink. I've just been, but that one's a whole different story though, because I've just been around so much alcoholism that I'm just like I'm more sensitive
Right,
to it. Like
exactly.
I'd rather just whoever's in the room just to be as comfortable as can be. Like
Yep.
I don't want to make anybody feel weird, so I may approach that differently than other people. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like whatever anybody wants to do, like just do it. I don't as long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't really care. Talk the way you want to talk. You know, people. You know,
You do you.
you do you.
Yep.
What a great phrase. Maybe that's what I'll title this episode. You do you.
You do you.
That's say that 3 times fast.
You do you do you do. Sorry, you do you you do you you do you.
I feel like that was one word. Can you separate it for me?
Okay. You do you do you do you.
Okay, that was worse, but it was a good try. It was a good try.
Okay. I tried my best. 25%.
Wait, did you have a specific story about peer pressure though?
I did not.
Okay, I don't think I
Well,
do. Either.
yeah.
Well,
I don't
except for
have
the
like my
21st
last
birthday.
example.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, that one, like my 21st birthday party, is the one that sticks in my head the most. I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I guess as adults, though, you don't get as peer pressured.
I don't know that you have as memorable peer pressure.
That's true. I guess it
I
happens
think.
maybe more subtly, but peer pressure
Yep.
now is sometimes more like, "Come on, come hang out with us," and like to me, that's fun peer pressure. I
I
guess.
would say like corporate expectations and those kind of things are
Oh, that's
like more subtle
that's
peer
true.
pressure.
That's that. Yeah, because now I can think of more examples of just you feel obligated
Right.
to do things maybe you shouldn't have to do,
Yep.
and then you know that they have your job in their hands though. So there's all these
Yep.
unspoken words,
Words.
words, word.
Okay. So I think we have to wrap this up pretty soon. It's getting late and I'm
Are you
starting to
tired?
drift off. I am. Like it's later where you are
I know.
than where I am. But yeah, like
But I'm a night
my
owl and you're
battery
not.
is running on. What was that?
But I'm a night owl and you're not.
That is true.
What if I peer pressure you into staying on here for another 3 hours, and we see how long
You
we can
would-
take this?
You would get the well, even if you pressured me to stay on for another hour, I think you'd get the same Nick that you got on the Vegas Strip that one day.
Which one?
Do you remember that?
Were you hungry?
No, it was like 2 in the morning or something like that. I want to say it was that late.
Okay,
like
was
1 or
this the
2 in
one
the morning.
where we were 18 or when we were older?
I think it was the
Like the first
older
time we went
one.
there, or when it was like with Kyle?
I want to say it was with Kyle.
Okay. Where you just didn't want to be out.
I was just tired. I was like falling asleep, and I was like walking around half asleep, and you're like, "Oh no, let's go farther. Let's go farther."
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm not even functioning. I can't brain. I can't do anything, and
See, it just took forever for me to understand that about you for whatever reason. Just because,
yeah.
what did I know when I was a kid? I'm just like, why is everyone else so tired? Why am I not tired? Like, you should be like me.
Go, 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 go.
Yeah. You
Well,
need to be exactly like me.
I remember. Sorry, what was that?
I said you need to be exactly like me.
That's right. No, I definitely remember explicitly those kind of road trips, and it's the same thing for me now. No matter what time I go to sleep, my body always wakes me up at somewhere around like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so on those road trips, you'd want to stay up until really late,
and
like,
sleep in
want to
late.
go out and do things and go explore and look around the town. And it would be like 2 in the morning, maybe it'd be 2:30 by the time we would get home, and then I would wake up at 6 in the morning after we fell asleep at like 2:30.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get back to sleep, and I'd just be sitting there in the hotel room waiting for everybody to get up, not being able to sleep myself. And
See, I'm just jealous of that problem, though. I wish that I woke up every day at the same time, because I have a hard time getting up, just like I have a hard time going to sleep.
I have a really hard time like getting up, not as hard of a time waking up.
Oh, like you're awake, but like getting up and going is hard.
Yeah, like getting out of bed and operating, which is why I enjoy what I have right now, which is being able to work from home in the mornings, work from my bed, not even having to get up. I could just wake up and start working,
Yeah, that is
and
nice.
then I can get motivated to actually get up and get around and get
You're
across the
making
street to work.
Everyone who's listening jealous right now.
It's the best setup that I've ever had. I'm so happy I have it.
It's nice though. I'm glad you have it, because
Oh yeah.
I mean, you worked for it, so it's a good thing. Shouldn't feel bad about it. I know you don't, but you shouldn't.
Well, now maybe I
Well,
feel a little bit about it.
it's like reminding you that you shouldn't feel bad, which will maybe make you feel bad. But what I mean is, don't feel bad.
I just want to make it seem like I don't want you to feel bad, but I want you to feel a little bad.
Yeah, I want you to think about it later and just not be able to sleep because you feel so bad. No, I don't.
Well,
I think it's awesome.
If I can't sleep, at least I know that I'll wake up at 6.
That's true. Well, plug your streamer channel there.
My streamer channel.
Yeah, on the Twitch.
So yeah, I have my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/I've heard it both ways. That is with a Z at the end. IVEHEARDITBOTHWAYZ.
Man,
That is a really long Twitch name, but it comes from my favorite show, Psych. It's a running catchphrase that is used quite often on that show, and yeah, I've converted it over to my Twitch name.
I like it, and it's a good channel, and it's growing, and
Yeah,
it's fun.
So right now at least I'm streaming 7 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Wednesday Pacific time still, and then on weekends I'm streaming at 10 a.m. Pacific.
With me part of the time.
That is right. On Saturdays, I've got Jay there at noon Central.
Yes, because that works. That actually works out great because Saturday, after not sleeping all week, I got to sleep in.
There you go. Yeah, you get plenty of time.
Well, speaking of sleep, you should go to sleep. Thanks for staying up late with me. This is great, and I'm glad to see that this setup works. This really was our most successful anything probably so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best thing that we've done in our lives.
Yeah. That's.
I mean, this is really the pinnacle.
It can't get any better than this.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here.
But 20 years from now, we can listen to this phone call and just remember how things used to be good.
Yeah, and like reminisce about how we used to actually be able to talk about giving as little effort as possible.
Yeah, it's like, man, what is life?
That's right.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go.
Talking to you.
I'm just gonna hang up on you here, on the recorder and on the streamer thing.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I will talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's always great to have Nick on the show. Like I said in the beginning, he's one of my best friends, and I assume we'll continue to be good friends into the future. I mean, he moved away, and we're still friends, and we still talk, and we still see each other, and that means a lot to me. And so I'm sure we'll have him back on here, and we'll have other conversations like that, and it will be fun. Or not fun, but those are useful conversations too, right? Either way, it's going to be great. But I guess that's it. I don't know if I have any new information for you this week. I will be back next week. I will have a new episode. And hopefully you like it. But if you don't, that's okay too. But anyway, for now, if you like this episode, please let me know. If you hated this episode, please let me know. And if you have any ideas for future episodes, please let me know. Thank you so much for listening. Seriously, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next week.